Meghan Markle is truly one of the most dangerous public figures on the world stage at the moment. She needs to be stopped.
Meghan Markle's failed plan to bag a billionaire as her marriage to Prince Harry becomes more unhappy by
February 26. Dubai International Airport glowed under brutal desert lights, its polished marble floors reflecting everything like giant mirrors. Outside, rows of private jets lined the runway like expensive trophies, each one belonging to someone powerful, wealthy, or incredibly connected. Dubai has always carried that electric feeling in the air, the kind of place where billionaires arrive quietly and billion-dollar deals get whispered behind private doors.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich.
When Meghan Markle stepped off her private jet, she reportedly expected the full VIP experience waiting for her. Cameras flashing, red carpet treatment, and that celebrity spotlight she often walks into at global events. She arrived dressed sharp and confident, styled down to the smallest detail, ready for what she had privately called her Power Week during quiet conversations with close contacts. Her schedule looked tight and carefully planned.
She will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids who can still go by prince and princess and find
Private meetings with luxury brand executives were already lined up, along with quiet strategy talks with powerful media figures who shape headlines around the world. There was even talk of an exclusive dinner with billionaire investors connected to the international golf business. Every move during this trip appeared mapped out like a chessboard, each step aimed at building influence, prestige, and serious money. Then suddenly, everything flipped. Only minutes after landing, the mood shifted fast. Airport officials approached calmly but with clear authority.
Well, that makes, you just go, and Harry's probably thinking, I don't want the press anywhere near there. But she loves to, this is how need to be a wannabe. It's that wannabe need for fame. And therein lies the problem. And for her, it's a drug for her.
There were no cheerful smiles, no VIP escorts waiting by the gate, and no special arrival path reserved for elite guests. Instead, she was quietly guided away from the public area and escorted into a private room. The door shut behind her. Conversations began. For more than an hour, there were no cameras, no glamorous entrance photos, no celebrity buzz spreading through the terminal. Just long moments of silence and serious discussion that insiders later described as tense and uncomfortable. Then the shock landed. The Duchess of Sussex was denied entry into the United Arab Emirates. Yes, completely turned away. Officials reportedly escorted her back toward the exact same jet she had arrived on.
Netflix will, allow their relationship with Prince Harry to expire, but they are holding on tightly to Meghan to work with Meghan in hopes that if there is a divorce, they would get the exclusive and pounce on that access to Meghan because they know that that's the next big thing that would.
Within minutes, the story started racing through airport staff, diplomatic circles, and international newsrooms like wildfire. But the real twist was still ahead. According to reports circulating among embassy insiders, Meghan allegedly reached out directly to members of the British royal family for assistance. Sources claim she requested diplomatic support, pointing to her connection as Prince Harry's wife and the mother of 2 children within the royal family line. Think about that for a moment. This is the same person who previously described the royal family as distant, harsh, and even racist during major televised interviews.
Prince Harry and wife Meghan Markle, they've just learned the hardest of lessons, which is, if you start a brawl, do not be surprised if you end up getting punched twice as hard.
The same figure who sat down on global television and opened up about private family conflicts in front of millions of viewers. Yet when trouble suddenly appeared, reports claim she looked back toward the same institution she had publicly criticized. And the response? Ice cold. By February 5th, 2026, Buckingham Palace suddenly found itself surrounded by a media storm. Reporters waited for hours, hoping for any official response. When it finally arrived, the message was short, direct, and impossible to ignore.
Ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against.
17 words. The statement did not come from an anonymous palace aide or some quiet background leak to reporters. It reportedly came directly from Prince William himself, and when it appeared online, it hit royal watchers like a thunderclap. The British royal family will not provide diplomatic sponsorship for Meghan Markle. She no longer represents the crown in any form, nor is she authorized to invoke our name for private endeavors. Let that sink in. There was no gentle royal wording, no soft diplomatic cushion around the message. This sounded like a clean public separation delivered by the future king himself. In modern royal history, it is extremely rare for a senior royal to distance themselves this clearly from a family member in public. And the message did not stop there. A follow-up clarification reportedly made the line even sharper. Her current activities, travels, and affiliations are not coordinated with nor endorsed by the royal household. The United Kingdom's diplomatic channels remain governed by His Majesty's government and respective consular authorities.
But this woman is nothing but a publicity whore. It's a term of art. We broke the news that she had Prince Harry on her vision board when she was younger. That was her goal, #goal, to marry Prince Harry. So it was all about getting the title. She's done that now. Now she's just stuck with this depressed ginger who has absolutely no family, no friends, and no money. This was not part of it.
Not by spousal entitlement or media status. Those words landed like cold steel. Spousal entitlement. Media status. The diplomatic language sounded polished, but the meaning behind it was impossible to miss. This did not feel like routine protocol. It sounded like a line being drawn boldly and permanently. Prince William was not whispering through palace staff or hinting quietly to journalists. The message sounded direct. Marriage to Prince Harry does not automatically grant royal authority.
That she's still married. I mean, this woman's going to keep trying to get elevated with the next man because that's what she wants. Because, Harry at this point doesn't even have enough money for her. And so she needs to find the man that's going to really give her what she wants financially.
Royal titles do not unlock diplomatic doors. Private business ventures do not receive palace protection. The boundary appeared clear, public, and impossible to ignore. Hollywood fame carried no power in that moment. Even the Duchess title suddenly seemed to hold very little influence. So what actually happened in Dubai that triggered such a huge royal shockwave? How did one of the richest and most glamorous cities on Earth suddenly shut its golden gates on Meghan Markle? Something serious had clearly gone wrong. According to insiders familiar with UAE border procedures and diplomatic arrivals, Meghan's trip did not exactly pass quietly under the radar.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So for her, it's time to move.
A new poll reveals that the declining arc of Harry's popularity has accelerated into a high-speed plane.
Reports suggest she arrived expecting smooth, high-level treatment the moment her jet touched the runway. Sources say she believed the arrival would move quickly with no delays, no difficult questions, and a seamless VIP entry. The visit was reportedly meant to launch a new luxury business opportunity, including possible partnerships with elite golf brands and wealthy investors. Instead, the moment she entered the airport, the plan reportedly began falling apart. Witnesses say she arrived looking flawless.
The idea that Harry will be getting his security back, which of course has not been formally confirmed, but is something that royalists like me very much fear, because it means he's going to be over more and more to try and cause trouble for William and destabilize the monarchy.
Wearing designer fashion that caught the bright airport lighting like something straight off a runway. Her small entourage walked beside her carefully, keeping quiet and professional with one clear rule: stay calm, stay polished. Every step appeared carefully designed to make the ultra-private trip look effortless and drama-free. But that polished image collapsed almost immediately. The moment she reached immigration, the atmosphere reportedly shifted. UAE border officers paused her entry for what initially looked like routine questions. Nothing loud, no raised voices, no public scene. But within minutes, she was quietly escorted into a private review room for further checks. Passports were examined closely. Officials spoke in calm, controlled voices. There was no shouting and no confrontation in public view. Yet inside that quiet room, the message seemed clear. Something about this arrival was not moving forward. There was no long explanation, no drawn-out debate, no dramatic back and forth. Just one firm decision that suddenly flipped the entire trip upside down.
It's living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke. It's embarrassing at this point. It's like, oh my gosh, for real, Meghan, you did that? You're going to keep doing this? I mean, wow.
Within about an hour, Meghan was quietly guided back through the airport terminal. Staff moved quickly and carefully, steering away from busy areas and cameras wherever possible. Not long after that, arrangements were made for her to board the next available flight leaving the country. No arrest, no loud announcement from officials, no press conference, and definitely no royal-style farewell at the airport. UAE authorities remained completely silent afterward, and there is a clear reason for that. Under Article 11 of the UAE Federal Law on Entry and Residence, border officials have broad authority to refuse entry to visitors.
Because these billionaires can sense one thing. When you're not looking for a partner, you're looking for a solution. And that's obviously the lane that Meghan Markle's in now. She doesn't make really her own money. This whole Netflix thing is just a ruse. We all know this is made up just to give her something to. She's already gotten the benefit of her bargain with Harry because she got the title. That's what she wanted. She wanted to be world famous. She wanted the title. You remember when Harry was single, he was the elephant. He was the one, the most eligible bachelor on earth. You could be a royal. You could become world famous overnight. You could live in a castle. You could have access to the crown jewels. You would be a princess. My God, yes, he could have had his.
They are not required to give a public explanation, and in many situations, there is no formal appeal available. In simple terms, the decision can be immediate, final, and entirely within the discretion of border authorities. But according to several insiders familiar with the situation, Meghan reportedly did not simply accept the outcome quietly.
I hate to repeat it, but this just doesn't make sense. Why are we seeing so much of this woman who doesn't have anything to offer us?
Well, that's the point. I'm not sure Prince Harry has much to, or Harry has much to.
Hell to the no.
Sources claim that while plans for her departure were being organized, she attempted to emphasize her royal connections, hoping those ties might help change the outcome. And according to those same reports, that approach did not lead anywhere. Think about the contrast here. This is the same public figure who once sat with Oprah and described the royal institution as distant, controlling, and unsupportive.
Actually told him that she would never return to the UK. And that absolutely backs up what I have said for so long, that she was plotting to bring down the British royal family, because otherwise she would absolutely have intent.
The same person who spoke openly about feeling silenced within the system and choosing to step away in search of independence. Yet in this tense moment, reports suggest she reached back toward that same royal circle, hoping they might step in and help resolve the situation. Sources connected to diplomatic networks in the region claim the requests went beyond a simple question. They say the arguments were repeated several times during private conversations.
Everything she touches turns to shit. And I think every sort of creative person behind her or deep pocket behind her knows it's an extraordinary risk. She's too toxic to touch.
I'm telling you, Meghan's new publicity team, Meghan's new publicist is getting their money's worth. Between the last 2 weeks, Meghan is back in the game. They don't have anything of value to promote right now. This desperation we're seeing from Harry and Meghan is to establish themselves before William becomes king and strips them of any relevancy whatsoever.
3 main points reportedly came up. First, Meghan is still married to Prince Harry, who remains part of the British royal family. Second, she is the mother of 2 children who hold royal titles recognized within the royal family structure that developed during Queen Elizabeth II's reign. And third, there were references made to administrative matters involving schooling and residency connected to California. That final detail quickly sparked speculation among observers. Some insiders suggested those references might relate to broader administrative or residency matters linked to California's education and family registration systems. Whether those details had any connection to the situation in Dubai remains unclear, but the rumors began circulating quickly. Meanwhile, Meghan's requests reportedly traveled through diplomatic channels and eventually reached Buckingham Palace. And that is when the tone reportedly turned even colder. The response from the palace was not vague or gentle. According to reports shared among diplomatic contacts, the message was short and firm. Meghan would need to resolve the matter through standard consular procedures. No royal intervention. Prince William's follow-up communication reportedly reinforced that position even more clearly. His message was described by insiders as precise and unmistakable. Meghan Markle's current travels are a matter for the appropriate consular authorities. We will not intervene. Think about how powerful that statement sounded. The future King of England was effectively signaling that the situation would not involve royal influence or diplomatic pressure. No special assistance, no palace protection, no quiet rescue behind the scenes. For the first time in a moment like this, the boundary appeared completely solid. And then another senior royal voice reportedly added further clarification. Princess Anne, widely known for her direct communication style, addressed Commonwealth officials and diplomatic contacts shortly after the story began spreading internationally. Her statement carried a firm and unmistakable message. Meghan Markle and her husband do not act on behalf of the crown, the monarchy, or the United Kingdom. Any attempt to link their actions to the institution is purely speculative, legally unsubstantiated, and rejected. The wording left very little room for interpretation. According to diplomats familiar with the briefing, the clarification also warned against connecting royal titles to private business deals, promotional ventures, media productions, or international partnerships. Even suggesting official royal backing for private projects was described as misleading. The message echoed across global headlines like a loud signal. Meghan and Harry operate independently, not as representatives of the crown, but the Dubai controversy might only be one piece of a sea, much bigger picture. Behind the scenes, insiders claim tensions surrounding the couple's California lifestyle had already been building quietly for months. The glamorous Montecito image, the one associated with luxury living, influence, and elite partnerships, was reportedly facing increasing pressure. And according to several sources familiar with the property situation, new details about the Montecito residence began circulating quietly. Those reports suggested the couple's departure from the estate may not have been entirely voluntary. Sources mentioned disagreements involving property arrangements, renovation approvals, and financial responsibilities connected to the residence. By early 2026, those issues had reportedly grown beyond simple misunderstandings. On January 14, 2026, insiders say the couple officially left the estate. No dramatic scene, no photographers waiting outside, no explosive headlines that day, just a quiet and cold ending to what many once described as the Montecito dream. In the end, official paperwork told the story. Deep within Santa Barbara County records, a quiet court filing revealed the situation in straightforward legal language. No glossy celebrity headlines, no dramatic interviews, just plain statements written in formal documents. The image of royal-style glamour once attached to the Montecito estate suddenly faced a very different reality. The protection of the crown was long gone, and now even the mansion tied to their California dream seemed to be slipping away. One short line in the filing said everything. The private lease would not be renewed due to conflicts with contractual property use. Simple words, but the meaning behind them was unmistakable. The landlord had reportedly reached the breaking point and decided the arrangement would not continue. Just like that, the doors closed. The departure from the property happened quietly, quickly, and without any of the Hollywood shine people once associated with the couple. Gone were the carefully staged interviews, the designer backdrops, the glossy brunch photos, and the polished luxury image that once filled entertainment headlines. In their place came something far less glamorous: locked gates, legal paperwork, and a hard reality check. And that was only the start. As their housing situation shifted, their business partnerships also began showing cracks. One of the biggest surprises came from their widely discussed Spotify deal. The agreement, once estimated at around $25 million, had been promoted as a bold move into the world of independent media. At the time, the partnership was supposed to launch a powerful new voice in podcasting. But by late 2025, that vision had reportedly lost momentum. Industry insiders pointed to several issues behind the scenes: limited content releases, lower than expected listener engagement, and ongoing disagreements about creative direction. What had once been promoted as the start of a media empire ended up producing only a single podcast season that struggled to maintain long-term traction. One season from a deal that big. Eventually, Spotify chose not to continue the partnership. The big comeback story many supporters expected never fully took off. Instead of dominating the podcast space, the project slowly faded into the background while other creators captured the spotlight. Then came another shift involving the Netflix partnership. At first, the agreement had been described as a massive global collaboration, reportedly worth close to $100 million. Plans included documentaries, film projects, and international storytelling productions designed to build a strong entertainment brand. But behind the scenes, insiders say expectations and results began drifting apart. Reports mentioned mixed audience performance, internal discussions about project direction, and growing concern about how constant public controversy could affect the brand image tied to the Sussex name. By January 26, several of the original contracts reportedly reached their end dates without renewal. No dramatic cancellation press conference, no loud public fallout, just quiet expiration dates, and no new productions moving forward. Another major partnership quietly stepping away. One by one, the deals that once looked unstoppable seemed to be fading. What had once been described as a billion-dollar royal reinvention now appeared far less certain, with fewer partnerships and headlines becoming harder to manage. Then another challenge surfaced. The Archewell Foundation, which had been introduced as Meghan's main philanthropic platform, reportedly became the focus of regulatory attention in both the United States and the United Kingdom. Authorities were said to be reviewing administrative filings, financial reporting records, and compliance procedures connected to the organization. Reviews like these are often routine for international charities. Still, the extra scrutiny added new pressure to an already sensitive public image. At the same time, several former staff members reportedly filed civil complaints connected to workplace disagreements, including issues related to contracts and compensation. Employment disputes like these can take a long time to resolve, but the headlines alone created another wave of tension. And according to additional reports, some partnership agreements tied to wellness and lifestyle ventures were also being reviewed to ensure promotional claims aligned with contractual terms. All of this together formed a growing cloud of legal, financial, and reputational questions. Critics quickly began pointing out a pattern. Project after project seemed to encounter complications. Deals slowed down. Partnerships faded. Headlines kept turning negative. Then came a twist that surprised many observers. Tyler Perry, the filmmaker and media producer, had once been one of the couple's most visible supporters. When Meghan and Harry first stepped away from the United Kingdom, Perry famously allowed them to stay at his Beverly Hills property, offering privacy and security during a time of intense global attention. At the time, he spoke publicly about helping them through a difficult chapter, but later reports suggested the relationship may have cooled. Some rumors circulated about possible misunderstandings involving financial arrangements or expectations connected to personal support. The exact details remain unclear, and none of the individuals involved have publicly confirmed many of the claims, but the speculation alone sparked another round of headlines. For many observers, the shift raised a larger question. How do alliances that once seemed solid suddenly begin to fade? One thing appeared clear. The circle of powerful allies surrounding the couple looked smaller than before. Meanwhile, Meghan reportedly still had plans waiting for her back in California. Her schedule included family responsibilities and preparations, connected to Archie and Lilibet's upcoming school term. But in that moment, none of those plans mattered. Dubai had already drawn its line. No royal connections changed the outcome. And as global headlines began spreading rapidly, new whispers started circulating among diplomatic insiders. Some officials reportedly mentioned what they described as a 4-point risk assessment, an internal review that may have influenced the final entry decision. Under UAE law, border authorities have wide discretion to refuse entry. But according to the rumors circulating among observers, this situation may have involved deeper considerations related to reputation, international attention, and potential security or publicity risks. If those reports hold any truth, the decision may have been far more calculated than it first appeared. Behind the quiet airport doors, discussions may have already been underway long before Meghan's plane touched the runway. Diplomatic sources claim the situation may have started days earlier. According to reports shared among international observers, UAE authorities sometimes conduct detailed image and risk assessments before high-profile visitors arrive. Officials often review global media attention surrounding public figures, especially when a visit could attract international headlines. In this case, insiders suggest Meghan's planned trip may have triggered additional scrutiny because of her high global profile and the intense publicity that often follows her appearances. One issue that reportedly raised concern involved attempts by people connected to her team to speed up entry clearance through informal contacts. Sources claim that during those discussions, references to royal connections and international influence were mentioned. In a place like the United Arab Emirates, that kind of approach can immediately raise caution. Government procedures for high-profile arrivals are tightly managed, and officials generally expect clear authorization before any diplomatic titles or royal associations are referenced. Without that approval, even casual mentions can trigger extra scrutiny. Then came the second concern: media sensitivity. Authorities reportedly worried that Meghan's arrival might attract a massive wave of publicity that could spiral quickly. Cameras, influencers, luxury brand representatives, and entertainment reporters could have flooded the airport within minutes. Dubai is known worldwide for glamour and luxury, but officials are also known for carefully managing high-profile appearances to prevent unexpected media chaos. As one insider reportedly explained, the concern was not celebrity itself. It was the scale of attention that might follow. The third issue involved financial transparency related to the visit. Investigators reportedly examined documents tied to the business meetings Meghan planned during the trip. According to sources, questions surfaced about how the visit was described in travel documentation compared with the sponsorship or investment conversations linked to the proposed golf brand partnerships. When paperwork connected to travel, business activity, or investments appears inconsistent, it can quickly trigger a deeper review in countries with strict entry and financial regulations. And then there was the fourth factor: cultural sensitivity. Officials reportedly evaluated whether the intense global media coverage surrounding Meghan's recent controversies might create distractions during official events already scheduled in Dubai that same week. Countries hosting major international gatherings often try to keep attention focused on planned programs rather than outside controversies. Taken together, these four concerns reportedly formed what insiders described as an internal risk assessment. Not proof of wrongdoing, not a legal judgment, but according to sources, enough caution for authorities to reconsider the entry approval. Within a short period of time, senior officials reportedly made the decision. Entry denied, her passport returned, travel plans reversed. The visit ended before it truly even began. What was meant to be a glamorous international business trip suddenly turned into a global headline. Within hours, international news outlets began publishing breaking updates. Footage appeared showing members of her team moving quickly through airport corridors while reporters attempted to capture the scene. Clips began spreading across social media at incredible speed. By the time Meghan reportedly arrived back in California, the story had already circled the world. Commentators immediately began debating what the moment might mean for her public reputation. Some public relations experts described it as one of the toughest image challenges she had faced since stepping away from official royal duties, because the issue was not simply about travel. It was about perception. Supporters argued that the situation had likely been amplified by intense media coverage. Critics, however, said the Dubai decision reflected a broader shift in how institutions and governments might be responding to her international profile. Sources close to Meghan reportedly said she felt frustrated and disappointed by how events unfolded. Some believed the decision carried political undertones, while others viewed it simply as strict enforcement of local entry rules. Meanwhile, royal commentators in the United Kingdom saw the moment very differently. Many described it as another clear turning point in the long and complicated separation between Meghan, Prince Harry, and the royal institution. Behind the scenes, reports suggested crisis management teams quickly went into action. Advisors reportedly held emergency strategy meetings. Legal teams reviewed media coverage. Public relations specialists began adjusting messaging, while certain older promotional posts and announcements were quietly removed from online platforms. But once a story explodes across global media, controlling the narrative becomes extremely difficult. By mid-February, analysts were openly asking whether Meghan's carefully built public brand, centered on independence, influence, and empowerment, was facing its biggest challenge yet. And one question kept popping up everywhere. Where was Prince Harry in all of this? Would he continue standing firmly beside Meghan as public pressure intensified, or could the constant waves of controversy eventually place deeper strain on their relationship? People familiar with the couple have occasionally hinted that the past few years have involved long discussions, difficult choices, and moments of quiet tension inside their California home. For Harry, the journey has been dramatic. Once known as the rebellious prince who stepped away from royal life, he now navigates a global spotlight that rarely switches off. Some observers believe the couple will adapt and rebuild again, just as they have after past controversies. Others wonder if this moment represents a real crossroads: redemption or reinvention. Only time will reveal the answer. But one thing is absolutely certain: the world is still watching closely. And if you have been following this story, drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think may have really happened behind the scenes in Dubai? If this deep dive gave you a fresh perspective, subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Tap the like button and share the video with someone who would want to hear this story too.